In order to prove that the cat could not fall, the orange cat in front of him jumped directly from the 100-meter-high tower, without taking the elevator or taking the stairs. As a result, he lost his life on the spot, and in the second life, just to prove that cats are also powerful animals, directly lifted a barbell 20 times heavier than himself, and as a result, he was smashed into a patty. In the third life, in order to prove that the cannon is the fastest vehicle in the world, it went straight to this life. But no matter how you die, even if you are burned to ashes, you can be resurrected intact the next day. Therefore, it has become extraordinarily bold, going everywhere to help the poor and rob the rich, and has become a cat warrior admired by everyone. But on this very day, when it robbed the governor's residence, using a beam of fireworks as a weapon, a violent explosion wakes up the sleeping giants of the forest. The giant broke into the town to bring people back as rations to face an opponent 100 times stronger than himself. The orange cat dared to draw its sword and charge, and it stabbed the giant in the nail with its sword, causing the giant to shake it off with all his might. Its small body has smashed through several walls in a row, but it does not feel fear at all. He snatched the coffee of the passerby to refresh himself, and rushed out with his teeth open, and the angry giant grabbed the bronze bell. Wanted to smash this little thing to death, but the orange cat stepped on the rope and used his strength to use his stunt. Invincible Hot Wheels cut the rattan with an arrow, and saved the villagers in the cage. He landed on top of the giant's head again, covering the giant's eyes with an eye patch, and the giant flicked the bell in a panic. But he just fell for the orange cat's scheme. Do you want to see something powerful? It enjoyed the cheers of the people before the giant's fallen body. I was about to sing a song for this victory. As a result, the next day, the orange cat, who came back from the dead again, found himself stripped of himself. The doctor was about to give it an in-depth examination, but the orange cat quickly said no. I have 9 lives, but the doctor is worried. You've used up 8, this is your last life. The orange cat was stunned and a little incredulous, and the doctor persuaded it to give up the life of licking blood at the tip of the knife, and gave the address of a stray cat home. Let it go there to retire, the orange cat disdains, he is a cat hero. It's not those house cats that wag their tails and beg for pity, but late at night, Emo's cat hero still goes to buy drunk to kill his sorrows. Just then, an eerie whistle sounded. When I turned my head, there was an uninvited guest beside me. Strange Wolf claims to be a fan of Cat Hero and wants to ask for an autograph. As he spoke, he took out a wanted list from his arms. Just sign it here. The sharp wolf claws knocked on the word death, and the orange cat understood. It turned out to be a bounty hunter who didn't know how much it had spent over the years. Just as it wanted to fight as quickly as before, the sword in its hand flew. It didn't even see what was happening, and the strange wolf was still drinking leisurely. The orange cat realizes that something is wrong, draws his sword and attacks the strange wolf with all his might. But every sword was easily dodged, and the orange cat, which prides itself on its speed, seems to have become a snail in front of the strange wolf. Even the invincible Hot Wheels was cracked with one hand. The strange wolf grabbed the orange cat like a rotten rag. After wiping it around the table, he threw it out, facing the devastating attack of the strange wolf. The orange cat only blocked 2 slashes, and the third slash was knocked off again. The sharp scimitar slashed overhead, nearly splitting it in half. Red blood flowed down his forehead, and the orange cat remembered that this was his last life. Instantly frightened, the hair stood on end. I love this breath of fear. Looking at the defenseless orange cat, the strange wolf actually kicked the sword back at its feet. Pick it up, pick it up. In the face of such a shameful guide, the orange cat didn't even have the courage to hold a sword. Hiding in the toilet with his tail between his legs, the once majestic cat hero. Looking at the only place in the toilet where I could escape, I finally let go of the last shred of my pride. By the time the wolf broke through the door, it was already out of the foul-smelling sewers. Escaping, the orange cat ran as hard as he could until the doctor introduced him. Give it a home for stray cats. Is the curtain finally coming down on a generation of heroes? It was supposed to be the most capable cat in the world, but after it died 8 times. Deciding to retire, it took off its cape and boots, which symbolized its status. Buried in the grave, then knocked on the door of the home of stray cats. Hearing footsteps inside, he quickly pretended to be a poor stray cat. Meow, an old lady lovingly hugged it in. First rub it into a bubble bath and turn the cat hero into a cute pet cat. There are also names. I'm going to call you Gherkins. In the beginning, the orange cat still stood out from the crowd, and the other cats wore small socks sewn by the old lady. Only it thought it was stupid and kicked its socks off. The other cats are lining up to go to the toilet in the litter box, and only it is standing on the toilet to pee. As soon as other cats hear the sound of their owners pouring cat food, they will gather around the rice trough to eat obediently, only it feels that this thing is extremely unpalatable. Run to the kitchen to fry yourself fish, but the world within the walls provides protection. There are also limitations. Every time the granny would teach it a lesson, correct it, and over time, the disheartened orange cat gave up on himself. Like ordinary cats, squat in the litter box and eat cat food. The once majestic cat hero has become the most mediocre of the cat pack, until one day, during a girl's conversation with a 3-headed bear, the orange cat overhears it. The news of the wishing star, there really is a wishing star, was passed down many years ago. A magical star from the depths of the universe, falling into the earth, who can find it? Can make a wish come true, and now the map of the wishing star has finally been revealed and has fallen into the hands of a fat magician. Watch as the underworld bear family, formed by the girl and the bear, embark on the path to the wishing star map of the Temple of Contention. The orange cat also has a flame burning in his heart, as long as he uses the wishing star. If you get back the 8 lives you lost, you won't be able to turn them back into that. The fearless cat hero, it commands in the cattery. The next night, the orange cat infiltrates the fat magician's castle and opens the only chest in the room while the other party is not looking. The map was indeed inside, but a colleague who had been hiding in the box for a long time suddenly cut off his beard. And this peer turned out to be still orange cat's ex-girlfriend Ajin, looking at Ajin's resentment. Knew that the two did not break up peacefully, just as they were fighting over the map. The fat wizard finally spotted them, and a fierce 4-way battle ensued. Orange cat and Ajin snatched a magic carpet and escaped. But it was shot down by the fat magician with a trident, and the underworld bear family caught up with the orange cat, and it lost its sword, so it could only sell it with a branch. As a result, he was slapped and flew away, just hitting Ajin, who was about to escape from the window. The two of them grabbed the map and fell into the carriage, and the dog who answered him threw up the reins, and the 2 cats and 1 dog rushed out of the castle. Rushing into the bazaar, the fat magician's men couldn't catch up, just when the orange cat was triumphant. A familiar whistle sounded in his ears, and in the crowd, the strange wolf that almost killed him reappeared. It stared at the orange cat as if to say, "Your life is already mine." Hurry up and run, the orange cat and Ajin, who escaped, temporarily put aside the contradictions, followed the map guidance, and embarked on the road to find the wishing star. And the underworld bear family, and the fat magician also used their own means. Track them down a few days later. The orange cats and their party arrive in a dark forest and pass through a dark barrier. Inside, however, is a paradise of warblers and willows, a wishing star map. Depending on the desires of the holder's heart, different paths will be reflected. When the orange cat touches the map, the paradise instantly becomes one. The path of death full of fire and magma, the more one covets. The harder the road will be, and so will Ajin. The sea of fire faded, but a gushing stream of sulfuric acid emerged. And the path of suffering of poisonous gas, doesn't the wishing star want people to get it, until the humble dog brother touches the map, and it turns into the fairy tale road of the Huatwanjin clan in front of him. The 2 cats reached a consensus at a glance. You are holding the map, really? Why is the path of the little brother dog so easy? Ajin feels that there must be a secret in it. The dog brother said that he used to play hide and seek with his master. They hid me in a box. And in the trash, no matter how hard they try, I can always find them. So one day, they upgraded the gameplay, they put me in a sock and stuffed stones, then threw me into the river. I bit a hole in my sock and swam to the surface, but I never found them again, or my little buddy, so I think I'm still a ghost. Both cats were sad for the poor little one, but it itself laughed heartlessly, and Ajin wanted to teach the dog brother to know the dangers of the world, so he stole the sweater on his body. The little dog brother, who reacted, was full of admiration. Wait, this is amazing. At the request of the orange cat, Ajin helped it shave its beard. Also lent him his own knife, and the relationship between the two cats eased a lot. The journey was easy until the magician and the underworld bear family chased after them, and it was another three-way battle around the map. In the confusion, the map fell in front of the orange cat, and there was no time to check it. The familiar whistle made its hair stand on end, and when it looked back, it saw the terrifying black shadow standing behind it. The orange cat was so frightened that he abandoned his teammates and ran away. Eventually, the map fell into the hands of the blonde girl, and the moment she touched it, the terrain changed, scattering the tripartite again. The frightened orange cat hid under a tree, and the dog brother came to him with his hat and looked at the orange cat's violently undulating chest. It pressed its head against its belly, and the healing sensation finally calmed the orange cat. He said that he only had one life left, as well as the conflict with Ajin. Many years ago, he and Ajin should have stepped into the palace of marriage. But for the dream of the rivers and lakes in his heart, he became a runaway groom, and he has been very guilty all these years. This passage happened to be heard by Ajin, who was found, and the two cats completely released their suspicions, and in a forest hut, they found it. The Sopranoia bear family, who were napping, were found as soon as they touched the map, and the orange cat threw the map to Jean, who wanted to use the map again to change the terrain, but was interrupted by the blonde girl. The shattered hut floats in midair, and the girl steps on the pieces and runs towards the map, and the orange cat and Ajin look at each other. Tacitly used a combination of skills, stepping on the left foot and the right foot to the sky double version. What's the matter? The map was successfully obtained, but the little brother of the dog fell into the hands of the bear family and became a hostage. The orange cat frantically switches maps again, and a crystal maze rises from the ground, trapping it inside. Ajin had to go to rescue the dog brother first, and the orange cat found a way to get out on her own, in the depths of the maze. He saw his former 8th life. The cat was supposed to have 9 lives, but it had died 8 times, and the first 8 lives appeared in front of him like a ghost. Some of them are majestic and some are agitated, but what they are all the same, they are extremely conceited and selfish. Relying on the opportunity to start over in life, I dare to do anything. Anything can be abandoned, and they persuade the 9th to abandon their companions. Privately swallow the wishing star, so that you can get back the 8 lives and return to the peak, but the 9th life hesitated. Because of my previous self, it is indeed chic to be alone, but behind the glory is endless loneliness. Is this kind of life really something to be proud of? You have become a coward. A coward in boots, the former 8 loudly mocked its weakness. Angry, the orange cat turned around angrily and went to find the way by himself, without us. There will only be one left with you. Fear, the strange wolf that chased after it, appeared again, and he casually smashed the crystal that reflected his previous life. Counting the 8 marks symbolizing death on the scimitar, it turned out that the strange wolf was a god of death from hell, and he had long been unaccustomed to it. The orange cat has 9 lives, ignoring death again and again, wasting his life, so why don't I do us both a favor? Take your last life, it's now. The orange cat ran wildly, but the fear was like a maggot on the tarsal bones. Biting at its heart, the orange cat rushed out of the crystal labyrinth, but he didn't know it. Has long become the prey of death's play. Ajin rescued the dog brother, but saw the orange cat running away with the map. Thinking she had been abandoned again, the orange cat rushed all the way to the deepest part of the forest, with the giant wishing star at her feet. He jumped down the canyon and came to the middle of the stars, and now he could fulfill his wish by reciting the words of light on the map, and the orange cat was interrupted by Ajin in the middle of his reading. "Do you know what my desire is? Someone I can trust." Whoever it is, she thought the orange cat would be the one. As a result, she still failed her, and at this moment, the fat magician and the underworld bear family arrived one after another. Surrounded by the orange cat's party, in the melee, the map changed hands several times, and the wishing star was actually pulled by magic. Quietly rising into the air, the fat magician accidentally knocked his men to the edge of the stars. After a while, the person was swallowed up by the enchantment and disappeared, and soon the bear brother in the bear family was also beaten to the edge. Bear Daddy and Bear Mom rush to save him, and the blonde girl hesitates when she looks at the map that is close at hand. She is an orphan and has been raised by bears since she was a child. Her wish is to have a home of her own, and it will come true soon. "Mom, I'm going to slip out." At the critical moment, the girl gave up the map and rescued Brother Xiong. Because she finally figured out at the last moment that this was her home, and at the same time, Ajin kicked the magician into the magic bag. The dog brother bit the map, but gently placed it in front of the orange cat. It said that it had no wishes, and that meeting orange cat and Ajin would make it special enough in this life and enough for one life, and at this moment, a strange whistle sounded. Death, here. Two sides on the ground, creating a new barrier that traps the orange cat. He's had enough of playing, it's time to make a break. Do it like a Confucian man, chase more life, fight with dignity, whether to pick up the sword at your feet, or rely on the power of the wishing star. As the Grim Reaper slowly approached, the orange cat's mind recalled the experience of this life. The happiest time was with Ajino's little brother, and he finally figured it out. Putting down the map and picking up the sword, the orange cat challenged the Grim Reaper, and the orange cat regained its fearlessness, its speed and strength. Returned, and even repelled the Grim Reaper, but this made the Grim Reaper even more excited, and the two sides became one. Bursting with greater force, he flew his sword once more. This time, the god of death no longer gave him a chance, and wanted to take his life directly. It was the knife that Ajin gave him. The orange cat uses the power of death to pick up the hat in a chic manner. Another dodge, but he retrieved the sword, and then he used both long and short swords. After the defeat of the Grim Reaper, the two swords slashed his weapon into 3 pieces, and used the invincible Hot Wheels with a special move. Successfully defeating the Grim Reaper, the orange cat kicks the scythe back to Death's feet. Just as he humiliated himself, pick it up, he knew that death could not be killed. But in this life, I will fight forever, the Grim Reaper came to the orange cat. No matter how strong the killing intent was released, he couldn't feel the slightest fear, and he finally gave up. Because what he wants to kill is an arrogant orange cat who relies on his own 9 lives. But now he is not. Cherish the last life, Puss in Boots. Live well, the Grim Reaper is gone. Ajin also finally saw the truth. Before, the orange cat said that she was being chased by death, but she thought it was a bluff. The orange cat gave the map to Ajin, but now Ajin doesn't need it, because she has found someone she can trust, right now. The magician, who turned himself into a giant, escaped from the bag, easily took the map. The last wish, it's mine. He wants to possess all the magic and have the power to rule the world, and at the last moment, Papa Bear throws the girl behind the magician, and the girl throws the orange cat and Ajin into it. They unleashed the 10-finger sword, tearing it apart. The wishing star was also shattered. What did you do? The magician, because of his huge size, instantly fell into it, and the wishing star rose into the night sky and exploded into brilliant fireworks, and the orange cat made a wish under the fireworks. To spend the rest of his life with Ajin, dog's little brother. This kind of wrong. He doesn't need to rely on the power of the wishing star, he can do it himself, a person who has too much. Often lost in the chase, but now, in his limited life, he has found something to cherish.